These are our friends, and we are treating them like trash. We are bullying them. And, you know, it's as if, like, I look at this thing in Mexico and I'm thinking, okay, as if deporting good, hardworking immigrants wasn't enough. As if emboldening the racial profiling and bigotry against Latinos wasn't enough. As if revoking temporary protective status for 500,000 Venezuelans wasn't enough. As if bullying Panama wasn't enough. Now he's going to tax our tequila and avocados?
Yeah.
So the ladies of The View, who, as everyone knows, are by far the most intelligent people on all of television. Of course, you know, with all of the difficult issues to understand in our politics, what would we ever do without Sunny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, and Alyssa Farah Griffin? Like, this is truly the cutting edge of intelligence and political insight. We just... so amazing, so bright, so smart. But, you know, amidst all of Trump's crackdown on immigration, particularly as it pertains to both mass deportations happening here in America, as well as today, the new deal that he struck with Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, to actually enforce the border security, the ladies of The View are not having a very good time, as you could imagine.
You know, to answer your question, which is this the immigration fix that this country wanted? I think absolutely there are certain people that wanted to see this kind of pain and destruction for a certain group or type of immigrant. Because if you look at the numbers, yes, the number of immigrants that come from Mexico or of Mexican-born are the largest. But the next largest are Asians. 28% of them come. I don't think they walk across the southern border. I think they come by plane. The next largest are Europeans. I don't think they walk either. I'm just saying immigrants, right?
Oh, not undocumented, though.
A lot of them are undocumented, actually.
But that's not the stat for being
but a lot of them
come by plane and then overstay their visas.
They overstay their visas. They overstay their visas, so they're undocumented. The Europeans that come here that overstay their visas are undocumented, but they don't come across the southern border. So I think there's a very clear message as to what this president wants the look of a criminal migrant to look like.
Yeah, see exactly what I'm saying. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. You subscribing is the #1 way to ensure that we can keep bringing you these videos. It's completely free. And let's begin the push to 1 million subscribers. Now, with that said, okay. So you have the typical take from Sunny Hostin. Apparently securing the border is racist because it's racist against Latinos because they're the only people crossing the southern border, which if you know anything about border crossings, the past several years is not true. There are actually a lot of immigrants coming from places like Asia and the Middle East. Not immigrants, let me correct that. Migrants coming from Asia and the Middle East. And so, yeah, those people are being turned away at the border as well, just to be clear. And also, she is pretending as if Trump is not currently securing the northern border, because as a matter of fact, the northern border is just as big of an issue in terms of a lot of the threats to our country right now. But of course, what can you expect? These are the typical takes of the ladies on The View. It was just a couple of weeks ago, we were covering the LA wildfires, and we had the brilliant genius on the left right here, Whoopi Goldberg, claiming that there was nothing that could have been done to prevent these wildfires because, first of all, wind moves things. Those were her words, right? The wind moves things. And on top of that, apparently, when you have a fire, it doesn't matter how much water you have to fight the fire. Like, water does not fight fires, apparently.
Here's how this works. Had to do with winds. You know how they're always saying, oh, the wind. It actually does. The winds move things and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have if 900,000 buildings go up at the same time. Now, having lived in California, I take great offense at pointing fingers. You should be pointing fingers about how can we help?
Yeah.
It's too soon to be saying, oh, it's Gavin's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's like us taking seriously that there are, you know, magic lasers in the sky that direct the weather.
So, of course, given the fact that these women are among the most intelligent people on Earth, and especially to comment on American politics, you may be curious to find out what the reaction was today of the ladies on The View to the fact that Trump, as you probably know by now, we've covered this in prior videos, threatened to do a tariff war against Canada and Mexico. Right now in this video, we're going to talk primarily about Mexico because he was not happy at the way that the countries on our border were not taking enough steps to secure their border. Of course, both Mexico and Canada agreed to Trump's new terms, and you may be asking, how could you even possibly criticize that? That's actually a massive victory. That's proof that Trump's negotiating power works. Well, with that said, let's listen to the ladies of The View as they essentially try to argue that while Trump had a massive political victory today, it was, of course, so mean and so cruel to hold other nations accountable for sending, violent murderers and drugs into the United States. Let's take a listen. Genius takes, as always, from the ladies of The View.
Wall Street Journal article she just referenced has a line which reminds us of the old Bernard Lewis joke. It's risky to be America's enemy, but it can be fatal to be its friend. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. He is signaling to our allies, long-held allies, largest trading partners. These are the people who vote with us in the international organizations. These are the people who send soldiers to go to war with us when we are fighting, in the Middle East, when we're fighting any sort of war. Canada sends its soldiers. These are the people that have been by us time and time again, that send their pilots and their planes to help us put out our fires, literally and figuratively. These are our friends, and we are treating them like trash. We are bullying them. And, it's as if, I look at this thing in Mexico and I'm thinking, okay, as if deporting good, hardworking immigrants wasn't enough. As if emboldening the racial profiling and bigotry against Latinos wasn't enough. As if revoking temporary protective status for 500,000 Venezuelans wasn't enough. As if bullying Panama wasn't enough. Now he's going to tax our tequila and avocados?
Yeah. It does.
Anna Navarro, you're so unbelievably funny there. Okay, so a couple thoughts there. First and foremost, if there really are friends, if there really are allies, as you go out and claim, then it should be a pretty non-starter that you should not assist and abet the foreign invasion of our country. Doesn't that seem like something that allies and friends would do, right? There are friends, right? So if you're, let's say you're friends with your neighbor, and, your neighbor watches maybe when you're not home as a burglar breaks into your house, and the neighbor just doesn't say anything. In fact, the neighbor actually goes over and helps the burglar break into your house. Are you going to really sit there and say, this is our friend, this is our ally? Unbelievable. Okay, again, so I just want to bring that up. If they really are friends, why have they been assisting in the invasion of the U.S.? And shouldn't they try to stop that, right? Shouldn't a friend help us with border security? That's thought here number one. Thought number two is, you talk about, all these hardworking immigrants are being kicked out of the U.S. Okay, so in that case, shouldn't our allies, specifically Mexico, be really happy about that? Anna, because this is the argument that you guys always make. The illegal immigrants that we want to deport are actually such amazing people, and they're contributing to the economy, and they're doing such a great job, and they're such a net positive on our society. It's like, okay, well, that sucks for us. Shouldn't Mexico benefit from that? Why don't they? In fact, they need it more than us, right? Their economy is way worse off than ours is, right? They're still kind of a developing nation in a lot of ways. So couldn't they use? Isn't that actually a very humanitarian thing to do? According to you, according to this logic of the hardworking immigrant theory, wouldn't that be a fantastic benefit and an aid to the struggling third world parts or second world, whatever, of Latin America to send back all of their citizens so that they can help rebuild the countries there? Because they're such amazing, hardworking people. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyways, there you have it. Here's meltdown number one. Let's transition now to meltdown number two.
Well, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I think it'll make sense when you want to get some tequila and it's really high. The cost of it is really high. I think that what people...
And guys, how did this all age? How did that age? The tariffs got lifted in 24 hours. But I'm sure tomorrow they're going to say that it was still mean and bad. Actually, no, they're still, because they're literally saying this. They did this show when the Mexican president had already caved and conceded to Trump. So just keep that in mind.
Fail to realize, many people, is how interconnected our economies are. You know, they're like, America first, America first. Let's make everything here. Let's do everything here. Let's be very insulated. And that sounds good. It sounds patriotic, but we are geopolitically connected to the rest of the world. We don't want to be isolated from everyone else. And I'll just say, you know,
we are geopolitically interconnected with the rest of the world. Really, Sunny Hostin? Really? See, this is why I say the ladies of The View, like, what would we do without them? How would I understand complex issues of geopolitics and the global economy and international trade, etc., without a genius, PhD, economist, expert, trust the science, Sunny Hostin? Thank you for that.
Mexico, Canada, and China together accounted for more than 40% of total U.S. imports last year. But more importantly, Canada and Mexico are the top buyers of U.S. exports in more than 72% of all export categories. 72%. We send our stuff over there. So now if there are these tariffs, that's going to cause problems, billions of dollars of problems. And if the tariffs, if they in turn return the tariffs, let's say it's your coffee, you have a coffee store, and you're going to sell a cup of coffee, and your coffee is $5. We know how expensive coffee is, right? Yeah. You sell coffee for $5. Now the coffee beans coming in from Mexico are now $5 more. You think if I own that shop, I'm going to eat that $5? No. Your cup of coffee just costs $10. Well, and that's the deal.
Okay, thank you, Sunny Hostin, for the economics lesson. Of course, what would any of us do without the PhD economist, Sunny Hostin, to explain to us how tariffs actually work? But I will say, first of all, yeah, okay, maybe that's true. Good thing the tariffs were not implemented then. Okay, are we missing this whole part of the story? But by the way, Sunny, thanks for the economics lesson. Now here's a math lesson, okay? Let me try to get it focused there. The Trump tariffs were 25%, okay, on US and on Canada and Mexico, I should say. So if you have a $5 coffee, just to explain, because I know, apparently she's an expert economist, she doesn't know how math works. A $5 coffee, adding a 25% tariff to it, so you'd multiply by a factor of 1.25, is $6.25. I don't know how she got the idea that if you add a 25% tariff to something, the price of the coffee would magically double to $10, but I don't know. You know, that's why I'm not an economist and Sunny Hostin is.
Connectedness, a vehicle made in North America goes across all the borders multiple times until it's actually done. But the part that gets me here is Donald Trump won on the economy and immigration. That's what we keep saying. Those were the two leading things. We talk so much about, well, what happened? Why aren't the price of eggs getting better? This was the other part.
This whole thing is to fix immigration, just to be clear.
He promised, which was tariffs. So in some ways, sometimes you get what you voted for, which is the people that voted for him. He told us this was going to happen. And he won anyone making under $50,000. He won in spades. So people with the least, the people that will feel this the most. Sonny, you speak of your $5, now $10 cup of metaphorical coffee.
What about your eggs?
Well, the eggs. But my point.
Metaphorical for a reason. The math makes no sense, people. Okay, come on. Show up on the camera. The math makes no sense. There you go. All right? It does. It's just made up. Yeah, it is hypothetical because that doesn't add up. That's not math.
Eggs are so expensive. We're going to have to color potatoes.
Everyone is going to feel this, but there's a lot of people, I would argue, at this table who are going to feel it less.
Yeah.
Yes.
The people that put him into office and voted for this were warned in bold letters this was what he was going to do, and he's doing it.
I'd also like to point out that there is a reason people don't really take a lot of our things that we export, because the quality of what we put out has not always been the best. When we look at what's in our foods, other countries won't accept food from us if it's chock full of the stuff that
preservatives and shelf
we allow to go through. So you can
talk RFK Jr. is right. That's the end conclusion of all of this. RFK Jr. is right. After Whoopi Goldberg got really mad that RFK kind of insinuated that she was obese, not really, but that's the way, she took it. After all of that, The end conclusion of this segment, guys, is RFK Jr. is actually right about the health and right about the food. Okay, well, you know, again, like I said, what would we do without the brilliant political insight of The View? So there you have it. Despite the fact that Trump literally succeeded with these tariffs, they're still melting down and being very upset about the tariffs happening because okay, let's break down the arguments. So, you know, the first one was like, it's really mean to treat our friends like that. We should, allow our friends to basically assist and abet in the invasion of our country. We had the second argument from Sonny Hostin that this is going to make prices double because of a 25% added tax. Again, that's not how math works. Okay, that's not how it works. And then lastly, we have from Whoopi Goldberg, of course, the smartest person on all of The View. You know, she knows how to be a firefighter, apparently, according to the show last month. RFK Jr. is right about the food. All right, there you have it, guys. Round of applause. Those are the ladies of The View. Again, what would we do without them explaining how tariffs work to all of the rest of us? With that said, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.